So my name is Makram El-Amin. I am the Imam here of Masjid An-Nur, and also I serve as the CEO and Executive Director of Al-Maa'uun, which is some of the work we do in community. So, I start with Masjid An-Nur. Masjid An-Nur is, the foundation. Our Muslim community, I've been I've grown up in this community. When my father was also an imam, a leader who transitioned from Chicago to Minneapolis, brought his family with him to lead the Muslim community. We work in 5 primary areas, okay? First, food insecurity is a big issue for us. We started out 20 plus years ago with just a small food shelf, feeding. We used to do collective buying, and then we would redistribute it among the families right within the mosque itself. Well, that grew into servicing people within the neighborhoods, and grew until there was a time where there were lines all around the mosque. People were coming to get fruits, vegetables, canned goods, all that kind of stuff. Today, I mentioned we feed 150 seniors. We do summer food feeding for children when kids are out of school, making sure they got nutritious meals when they're out of school. Part of our work, and I fully believe this, is to comfort the afflicted. Al-Maa'uun, the work we do, we want to be the Muslim form of Catholic Charities, right? Lutheran Social Services, Jewish Family Services. You know who they are, their identity is in their name, but the way they show up to serve who people are in need. That's our stuff. That's our stuff too. I should better put, that's our stuff too. We have a space at this table. We have a space that we're trying to exert ourselves in that same way. And at the same time, don't question my motivations because you didn't question their motivations. People have been hurt a lot. So bring a level of comfort, whether that's spiritual and or tangible, however we can do that. But the flip side of that work is also to afflict the comfortable, right? So I gotta do calls to action. I gotta mobilize. I gotta push people beyond their comfort zone. I never forget this. We were 5 minutes from here, and I was doing a ride along, and we saw a gentleman. We heard the call. There was a suspicious guy hanging out at this park. Don't know what's going on, but it's it was all that kind of stuff. So I'm literally hearing the call come over. That's I was hearing size him up. I said, that's not what I see. I don't see that. And I could tell they remembered like who I was in that moment too. Hell, I think I remember who I was in that moment too, to be honest with you. And it was a situation to where when it's all things that happened, and I had a chance to actually talk to this man, he looked and he just said he was hungry. This man needed social services. This man did not need any sort of engagement with law enforcement that day. Hearing folks on both sides of the spectrum, the very liberal and the very conservative. They brought us both together from various traditions and to talk about what it is to be in a pluralistic society. What does that mean? How do we move beyond difference and all? So a lot of the challenges was just sitting next to a person who had a very, very different view about police relations, and I got the backdrop of George Floyd and everybody, but they're very passionate. This fellowship made me know that there are people who have very different positions than I do, and they believe them like I believe my position. Faith kept me at the table. I think the value of the skill set that it pulled out of it is I had to be a listener. I want people to say 50 years from now, 100 years from now, whatever, that Makram El-Amin, he actually believed what he said he believed. I would say that it's important to me that people understand that God rewards effort. And we cannot control outcomes. Outcomes are beyond us. but effort is squarely in front of us.